Hi everybody, welcome to our weekly class.
Hi everybody, welcome. Parashat Beresheet.
Parashat Beresheet is the first parsha in the Torah. Talks about the creation of man, creation of all the existence. Talks about so many different things. We're talking about over 1,000 years since creation up to the times of Noah. A lot of things are coming. Let's start our class. So I'm going to start by reading the beginning of the parsha until man was created. בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום. ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים.
So the first sentence is Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et haaretz. And that means in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. This is actually the beginning and the seed of everything. So first of all, Bereshit, the word Bereshit starts with a big letter, the letter Bet. That's how we start the Torah, with the letter Bet. And there's a whole story of how the letters were chosen, which letter would actually start the whole Torah. And the reason that the letter Bet was chosen is because the word bracha, blessing in Hebrew, is starting with the letter Bet. And when we have the blessing of Hashem in our lives, it just fills everything. When we are blessed, when we are connected, everything is filled with joy, with blessings. And the reason also is because when we have that amazing blessing in our lives, we have the ability to create more and more light, more and more sustenance, and be blessed. So the bet was chosen with a very good reason. And the reason was that whenever the blessing of Hashem is really feeling everything in our world, the Yetzer Hara, the negative side, the dark side, cannot really go completely in. There's always a kind of protection, even when things looks very bad, even when things looks very negative, we're always protected. And the way that it's built is the bet, the bracha, is kind of sealing any, entrance for negativity. Now, if we choose to bring it into our lives, if we're opening the, if we're opening the gate, if we're opening the gates into our lives, that's a different story. That's a different story. Now, how do we open those gates? With our behavior, with the way we talk, with what we say, right? With our thoughts. So first of all, we say a thought can create reality, right? So the thoughts, we have to constantly make sure that even if we have a negative thought, we have to be, first of all, aware of it. And Havana, Havana is to understand in Hebrew. If you don't have the understanding even, you're kind of like outside of the game. You don't really understand that you're either miserable or that you're a very negative person, right? Some people, you tell them, I don't like it, or people just stay away from them because they don't really understand that their behavior is harmful, that their behavior can really cause harm to themselves, first of all, and to other people in their lives. So to be aware, to have this consciousness constantly, it takes a lot of effort. It's not something that is very easy to do. To really be aware of what we're thinking about, how we're using our consciousness, our thoughts, takes a lot of practice. And this is what we really call spiritual work. That it's constantly have the effort of putting those guards and making sure what's coming in, what's going out, what we're thinking about. This is the real process of a spiritual work. Now, if the thought is already creating reality, what about what we're saying? When we're saying, the mouth belongs to Sfirat Malchut. Malchut is the world of doing, is the actual world we're in. So when we're taking it out to action, means we're saying it, it's even stronger. So we have to really be careful with what we're saying. It's a practice, again. Nobody's perfect. We're not perfect. Everyone has to go through that effort. And again, it takes practice. And it depends how you were raised, and it depends where you were raised, and what's your culture, a lot of things. But we have a choice. So as soon as we understand that, we can start work on that and put the effort in the right place. And of course, our actions. By our actions, whatever we do, we can create an opening for light, or we can create an opening for darkness. Now, what is darkness? Darkness is not the opposite of light. Okay, in Kabbalah, darkness is not the opposite of light. This is a really important concept. Darkness is when you don't have light. It's the absence of light. It's not the opposite of light. The biggest trick of the dark side, of the Satan, of negativity, is to make us lose that attention of the good things we're doing and just kind of move to try to fight with whatever darkness we see. That's wrong, because what is actually doing to us is taking us away from our goal, from what we were doing good, and now we're dealing with whatever he sent towards our direction. Now, with doing that, not only we're not really able to truly fight him, we're kind of losing some of the light. So the real way to fight darkness is to extend the light. If you see a place in your life that is not working, that you feel the power of death, illnesses is going in, what you need to do is to extend the actions that will cause light and happiness and giving and sharing in your life. And slowly, some things we carry them from who knows how long, from past life, from, different things we did when we were even like teenagers. But if we don't give up and we ignore almost the chaos, we ignore almost the darkness, we say, okay, I see you, but now I'm going to make more light. Because when you go into a dark room, all you need to do is to turn on one candle, one light, and that's it. Darkness is not dark anymore, right? So this is how our focus needs to be in this world. We have to focus on extending, making more light in our lives than dealing with darkness, okay? And in this sentence, the bet, when we just read about it in the beginning of the parasha, we get many blessings, right? Bet, bracha, we get many blessings. And the bet is bigger. It's not everywhere in the Torah, right? There's only a few places in the Torah that the letters are either smaller or bigger than the rest of the letters. The bet here is big to give us all the blessings. And also to remember that the first psukim that we read in the Torah, those psukim, those verses, they are before the big scene, the big explosion that happened with Adam and Chava. So this is a time for us to really get reset for all of our cells in our body, to get a pure light, a pure energy that can really cleanse any negativity that is stuck inside us for who knows how long. This is really the most pure. All the letters have energy. Every sound in Hebrew, every letter has different strength in it. So the beginning of the Torah is before everything bad that happened. This is all good. And when we just hear it, when we activate it by reading the Torah, we get all these blessings inside us. So, you want to continue?
ויאמר אלוהים יהי אור, ויהי אור. וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב.
So, Hashem said, let it be light. And there was light. And Hashem saw that the light is good.
ויבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך. ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום, ולחושך קרא לילה. ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר יום אחד.
So God said, let it be light, right? And then to the light, he called Yom, day, and to the darkness, he called Laila. Now, the word, which is very interesting that the Torah used for the first day, it doesn't say Rishon, like Yom Rishon, like in Hebrew, Yom Rishon is the first day, and it's called just like Sunday, but in Hebrew it's Rishon, like Rosh. And by the way, in the word Beresheet, we have the word Rosh, right? Because it's like the head, it's the beginning. But the word that Hashem uses in the Torah is Echad, and Echad is one. And what the Torah is telling us here is that in the first day, everything was one, everything was united. And we have a pure blessing by just being one soul with everyone around us and with Hashem.
ויאמר אלוהים יהי רקיע בתוך המים, ויהי מבדיל בין מים למים. ויעש אלוהים את הרקיע.
So God created it's like he created heavens or like skies inside the water. God created skies inside the water. And then he separated the water, the upper water, which is in Shamayim, and the lower water. Okay, but here we have separation. So we know that before it was one, and now there's separation. And separation, or thinking that I'm not one with someone else, is the source of a lot of negativity in the world. And that's why on the second day, Gehenom, hell, was created.
ויעש אלוהים את הרקיע, ויבדל בין המים אשר מתחת לרקיע, ובין המים אשר מעל לרקיע. ויהי כן.
So just like I said, Hashem separated the water in heaven, in the upper, in the sky, and the water below.
ויקרא אלוהים לרקיע שמיים, ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר יום שני.
And the word in Hebrew for skies is Shamaim. And it's beautiful because the word Maim is water, and Shamaim means there, over there, there's water. So the word Shamaim, like sky, is actually, the water is over there too.
ויאמר אלוהים, ייקבעו המים.
So then Hashem drained the water
מתחת השמיים, אל מקום אחד.
to one place.
ותראה היבשה.
And then the land was shown.
ויהי כן. ויקרא אלוהים ליבשה ארץ.
So the name in Hebrew for the land, so Yabasha is what we use today as a continent, but the name that Hashem gave the continent in the Torah is Eretz.
ולמקווה המים קרא ימים.
And to the water that was drained, he called seas. That's the oceans and the seas that we know today. In Hebrew, it's Yamim.
וירא אלוהים כי טוב.
And God saw that it's good.
ויאמר אלוהים תדשא הארץ דשא, עשב מזריע זרע.
So on the third day, that's when God created the herbs and the grass and the seeds of all the plants.
עץ פרי עושה פרי למינו.
And the trees that give fruits.
אשר זרעו בו על הארץ. ויהי כן, ותוצא הארץ דשא, עשב מזריע זרע למיניהו.
So whatever Hashem said, the land did it. Once he said it, the land starts sprouting all the seeds and the plants from the land, from the eretz.
ועץ עושה פרי, אשר זרעו בו למיניהו. וירא אלוהים כי טוב.
And of course, the trees with fruits, and God again, Vayar Elohim ki tov, God saw that it's good. So you see that on the third day, the sentence is said that God saw that it's good, it's all good, appears twice. So Tuesday is a very good day.
ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר, יום שלישי.
So, and there was the evening and the morning of the third day. So already here we see in all the days that in Judaism, the days do not start in the morning. This is all the way from the creation. The days in Judaism start at the evening, at the sundown, and it goes all the way to the next Sunday on the next day, on the next sundown on the next day. That's why when we celebrate Shabbat, we start and we light the candles on Friday night, right, when it's sundown, all the way to Saturday night after sundown.
ויאמר אלוהים, יהי מאורות ברקיע השמיים.
And Hashem said, let it be lights in the sky.
להבדיל בין היום ובין הלילה.
Lavdil, to separate, again, to separate between the day and the night.
והיו לאותות ולמועדים ולימים ולשנים.
And with that, you have the times and in the year and the holidays, zodiac.
והיו למאורות ברקיע השמיים להאיר על הארץ.
And they will shine on the land.
ויהי כן. ויעש אלוהים את שני המאורות הגדולים, את המאור הגדול לממשלת היום, ואת המאור הקטון לממשלת הלילה.
And the
ואת הכוכבים.
big light was the ruler of the day, and the small light was the ruler of the night, and the stars. So we're talking, of course, about the sun and the moon.
ולמשול ביום ובלילה.
So they can rule at the daytime and the night.
ולהבדיל בין האור ובין החושך.
To separate between the light and the darkness.
וירא אלוהים כי טוב.
And God saw that it's good.
ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר, יום רביעי.
So, and there was the night and then the morning of the fourth day. So the fourth day, again, Yom Revi'i, the Wednesday, has the root of jealousy. All the evil jealousy in the world started on Wednesday. There is a story in the Talmud that they explain, and also Rashi talks about it, that when the sun and the moon were created, they were created in equal size. Now, we know that, we see them as stars, but they have also special jobs in the creation. And in there they say that they have kind of a soul in them. That's why, in the old times, people were confused. They thought, oh, we can worship the sun, we can worship the moon. We know that Hashem is above them, that God is above all this. But in this world, they are important, right? Sun is very important, the moon is very important, the stars are very important, everything is important, everything that was created. But they say that when they were created equal, the moon wanted to be the biggest one and to control all. It was, and that's when they explain why, in a way, jealousy is the root of all evil. And the way she said it was, we cannot rule together. One of us has to be bigger than the other. So Hashem said to her, okay, so you go and shrink yourself. And that's how there was a change. In the beginning, it was supposed to be that both of them are together. Now, in our lives, if we think about it, places that we're jealous of what other people have, you know, there's so many bad things that can happen from that, because first of all, we might end up doing something very negative because of that. We can gossip, we can say lashon hara, right? We can say evil tongue, even evil speech about people that we think we know what we think they deserve or not, or what we think we deserve or not. Now, don't get me wrong. You should ask for all the blessings in your life. You should be blessed and happy and rich and just get all the things that you wish for yourself. Of course, that's why we're here. We want to learn how to, you know, to get more blessings. But the way, again, if we go back, how you talk, how you think, what your actions are, they are crucial. So you can wish something good for yourself without shrinking someone else's light. You can wish something good for yourself without saying, oh, why do they have this? Why do they have this big house? Why do they have this? And I don't. I want to have it. I deserve it better. Okay, so it's all about how we say things and how we think. We can say, wow, I'm so happy they're blessed and that Hashem loves them so much and that for sure they're good people. And I wish I could have a nice house and have, you know, place for my kids and for whatever it is that you want for yourself. But just think about the way you are blessing other people when you want blessings for yourself, instead of trying again to shrink their light. And I see it, unfortunately, a lot. You know, I see a lot of those, it's almost some like hypocrisy, you know, that people can go and smile at you, you know, when you see them, and then behind your back, they'll try to go and harm you because they don't understand that they can extend their light and you can extend your light and he can extend and she extend, sorry, their light, and there'll be enough beautiful light from everyone. The understanding that you don't have to shine by turning off someone else is a really, really important concept. So please, if you can go with only this from this class, I'll be happy.
ויאמר אלוהים ישרצו המים שרץ נפש חיה ועוף יעופף על הארץ על פני רקיע השמיים ויברא אלוהים את התנינים הגדולים ואת כל נפש החיה הרומסת אשר שרצו המים למיניהם ואת כל עוף כנף למיניהו וירא אלוהים כי טוב. ויאמר אלוהים ישרצו המים.
And God said that the water will get fish.
שרץ נפש חיה ועוף יעופף.
And this is the day that he created the fish and the birds and the little insects.
על הארץ, על פני רקיע השמיים.
On the land and in the sky.
ויברא אלוהים את התנינים הגדולים.
And God created the big alligators on this day.
ואת כל נפש החיה הרומסת אשר שרצו המים למיניהם.
And all the other little, you know, animals in the sea.
ואת כל עוף כנף למיניהו.
And all the birds.
וירא אלוהים כי טוב.
And God saw that it's good.
ויברך אותם לאמור, פרו ורבו ומילאו את המים בימים, והעוף ירב בארץ.
And God blessed them to be fertile and to, you know, to prosper.
ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום חמישי.
And it was evening and morning of the 5th day.
So, on the 5th day, The Zohar also talks about that in this day the angels were created, and also the devil was created. Actually, it says the Taninim Agdolim. You have sacred names of the male side and the female side of the negative side, which I won't say their names, and they're hidden inside the name the Taninim Agdolim. ויברך אותם אלוהים לאמור. And God blessed them. פרו ורבו ומילאו את המים בימים, והעוף ירב בארץ.
So that's where also the fish were created, and God blessed them. Says, go prosper. That's why in Judaism, a fish is a symbol for blessing.
ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום חמישי.
And it's the evening and the morning of the fifth day.
ויאמר אלוהים, תוצא הארץ נפש חיה למינה. בהמה.
So then Hashem says that all the nefesh is like the being of the animals. So on the fifth day, God created, the fish and the birds and the insects and the alligators. They're kind of separate with that. And then on the 6 days, all the rest of the animals.
ורמס וחייתו ארץ למינה ויהי כן. ויעש אלוהים את חיית הארץ למינה, ואת הבהמה למינה.
So all the animals on the earth and the mules, the behemoths, the behemoth.
ואת כל רמס האדמה למיניהו.
And different other small creatures like the mice and so on.
וירא אלוהים כי טוב.
And God saw that it's good.
ויאמר אלוהים, נעשה אדם בצלמנו כדמותנו.
And Hashem said, we'll make man in our image.
וירדו בדגת הים ובעוף השמיים.
And man will rule the fish in the water and the birds in the sky.
ובבהמה ובכל הארץ ובכל הרומס על הארץ.
And they will rule all creatures.
ויברא אלוהים את האדם.
And God created man.
בצלמו.
In his own image.
בצלם אלוהים ברא אותו.
In the image of God, he created him.
זכר ונקבה ברא אותם.
Male and female, he created them. Which is a very big concept.
Okay. So it says זכר ונקבה ברא אותם. זכר ונקבה ברא אותם. What does it mean? זכר ונקבה ברא אותם. It means that man was created, man is a whole thing, is one. It's a manly side, it's a male side and a female side. The male by itself or the female by itself are not considered as men. The man is a combination of both of them together, the man as it says in the Torah. Because all the species were created male and female. And I want to read a little bit from the Zohar. And that's what it says. בואו ראה, כל רוחות שבעולם כלולים מן הזכר והנקבה. So all the spirits in the world are included with male and female. וכשיוצאים, זכר ונקבה יוצאים. ואחר כך נפרדים דרכיהם. So they come to the world as a soul, in the spiritual level, as a soul, and the soul splits to male and female. אם זוכה האדם, אחר כך מזדווגים יחד. So if the person, right now we're talking about people, if a person is lucky enough, then he finds his soulmate, and they become one after they get married. וזו בת זוגו, ומתחברים בזיווג אחד בכל, ברוח ובגוף. So they become one in the spirit, in the soul, in the body. שכתוב, תוצא הארץ נפש חיה למינה. מה למינה? זה רוח ההוא של האדם שיצא זוגו הדומה לו. So when it was created, that's the spirit of the man that had the male side or the female side has another part that is similar to him and is the one that fits him or her. The Zohar explains that if you are corrected before you get married, you're a good person, you're doing everything that God says, you will be able to be one with your soulmate. You're gonna get to that level. So when we are getting married, we become one with our wife, and then we're like Zachar u'Nekeva Abraham, and then we became Adam. We become Adam. And Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve, were created in one body. So the whole story that it says took the rib out. Now, if you go to ancient Hebrew, the word is called tsela. Tsela, you can translate it in modern Hebrew to rib, or you can translate it, basically it's a side, the side of the side. So God took the side, and in the Zohar it's called the nisur, the separation. And the female was separated from the man because they were one in creation. Zachar u'Nekeva bara otam. They were created male and female, and v'ikra le'shmam Adam. They called them Adam. They were back to back. Like the male side was this in one part, and the woman's side was the other part, and they got split up.
No, just they were back to back. They could not really, talk to each other. They could not work with each other. They had to have the separation in order to be face to face.
So basically, Adam and Eve were like Siamese twins in a way, which brings us to actually to talk about how to create a good relationship between men and women, how to create a good marriage life. Every person, man and woman, need to understand that their partner in life, their husband, their wife, is their other half, and they need to do it most of the times. Maybe sometimes things don't really get along, but in normal times, they have to understand that their partner in life is a part of their united soul. And then it says, "Aselo ezer kenegdo." I'll create the woman to be helpful, but in front of him. But in Hebrew, you can translate it a little bit different. It can be helpful for him if he want, or it can be against him. So he can lean on her, or she can be against him. The woman was meant to be helpful for the man, but it's all about the man and about the way that he treats his woman. And if a man, which is hamashpia,
influence,
the man is giving his influence. If he treats her nicely, makes her happy, and he acknowledged that she's the partner in his life, then she becomes to be ezer, to be helpful for him. But if he always argue with her, makes her feel bad about herself, calls her names, fight with her for no reason, disagree about anything just to show that he rules everything and he's the man of the house, and basically makes the place hell, then she becomes against him. And and then the separation starts again. And there is a big obligation for the husband, for the male part, to be good to his wife and to love her. This is actually a mitzvah. This is something that a man has to do. He has to love his wife. And all the blessings are coming to their marriage when the male and the female are together. And I want to read another part from the Zohar. So the blessings, ברכות אינן נמצאות אלא במקום שנמצאים זכר ונקבה. So the blessings are not found in any other place when you don't have male and female together. זכר ונקבה בראם ויברך אותם. So God created them as male and female, and he blessed them. אמר רבי שמעון, סודות עליונים נתגלו באלה שני הכתובים. So you have very big secrets that were revealed. זכר ונקבה בראם, male and female were created. להבין מזה כבוד העליון סוד האמונה. שמכוח הסוד הזה נברא האדם. So when the male and the female are together, the real faith is coming to the world. You know, when after you get married, you have some struggles, and you find the real path for true faith in God. And you have a lot of happiness, and you have a lot of other things. But the true connection is happening after the male and the female are together in holy matrimony. וזה סוד שנבראו השמיים והארץ ונברא האדם. So the same secret, like the heavens and earth, the sky and the earth were created. That's also in the same secret that man was created. When you're uniting the two souls together, that's where you get the faith, that's when you get the trust with God. That's when you're really doing what God wanted. Because Zacharu Nekeva bara otam.
When we break it, it's very hard to find it again. So most of us are not here the first time on earth. And for many reasons, we kind of had the chance, we had our soulmates. In the beginning, it's very easy. We find them very easy, just like a lot of like high school sweethearts or all their life they're together and happy and loving. You see it. But a lot of us kind of had that in other lives, and we did one or more things to harm it or not to appreciate it, right? When we take things for granted, and we make our partner feel bad, or we even do worse things, then we lose it. And then the next time is going to be much harder. They say in the Zohar that usually when they come to the world, the women, they get it faster than the men. They just get it. They come to the world, and you can see it on women. Women usually, of course, they can come and get lost. But most of them, they come to the world, they're the engine. They come, they want to do things. They want to, come on, I don't have time. I don't want to waste my life. I want to marry, I want to have kids. I want to have a house. They know, they kind of designated whatever is really important. And the men, they have time. I'm just a child. I'm 80, but I'm just a child, and I have time. You know, they say men don't grow up, just the toys changes, right? So they have time. They just take their time, and the women are like, come on, come on, come on. So the Zohar explains that usually men, it takes them longer, and they have to go into the washing machine again and again and again until they're like, okay, I want the light. I can't take it anymore. And the women kind of get it. And at one point, the women can finish their whole correction and go up to heaven and have parties and have fun and have all this wonderful light. And you know, they don't need to go back. But the problem is that they look down and their soulmate is down there, and without them, they don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. So even if they finish, they choose to go down and to help their other half, to correct everything, to make sure that they can meet again and they can finish whatever their soul came to accomplish. So when they go down, they take some of the dirty laundry on themselves. They can't come as like angels from heaven, right? They're gonna, we say in Hebrew, they're gonna eat them without salt, right? In our world, people, they're only like, you know, hallelujah. You know, they just, at one point, either they have to hide or they have to learn how to kind of, you know, navigate in life. So as they go, they volunteer to take parts of the dirty laundry and help to correct with this. That's why we see that women have a lot to correct too, because once they're here, the game is on for both sides. Now, the woman came for the husband, but if the husband is not ready, the worst thing that can happen for that husband is to meet his soulmate. Because, come on, she came from heaven for him. You know, we say in Hebrew, "Kol pshayim techaseh ahava." She's gonna love him and spoil him, and even if she's gonna be mad at him, she's gonna forgive him. She's always gonna, you know, and he's not there yet. I mean, if he's not there yet. Now, if he's not there yet, he has to get someone that will make him get there. And that's where the best for him, unfortunately, is to meet the klafte. Klafte in Yiddish is a beach. So everything we think is just happening to us in life. Everything is very tuned. Everything is very, you know, there's a reason for everything. Of course, we have a free choice. All of Beresheet is, first of all, to take us back to the seed level. The whole book of Beresheet in the Sfirot is called the Keter, the crown, the crown. And it's funny, in Spanish, crown is corona. You know, there's always a reason. We can even, you know, we can even erase corona if it didn't come to clean something from our lives. This is all an outcome. So Beresheet is the seed level, the crown, the thought, you know, the thoughts before they become actions. Whatever thoughts, whatever seed we're gonna plant, that's the kind of tree we're gonna have later. So in Beresheet, we can go back, even with, as we said in the first sentences, before the sin that man and that Adam and Eve made, and get this pure rejuvenation for ourselves, the power of life again to any place in our aura, in our body, in our relationship, that we let death and darkness go in, and we can just suck it out and put light, pure light and life in it. But also, we have to understand that if we didn't choose well, if we didn't want to put the hard effort on changing ourselves, on doing the mitzvot, on committing to our job on earth, on doing what Hashem, you know, Retzon Hashem, the will of Hashem. Our souls swear when we're up there, before we come here, I'm going to do the will of Hashem. I'm going to do what Hashem is sending me, what I signed up for to do in this world. We come here, start, you know, all this chaos, right? We forget why we even came, why we're here, and all sort of things. So we have a choice. But when we don't want to choose so much and want to go and have, you know, vacations, or just, you know, wander around and do all sorts of things that are a lot of times are negative, we are actually making our soulmate go further away from us. And then it's necessary sometimes for us to meet, you know, people that are not our soulmates. Now, in a way, sometimes you see those evil women, and the men that are with them are always the nicest. And you say, how come, you know? But they're nice because of her, thanks to her. Because she volunteered sometimes to even go through reincarnations of anger and a lot of things, just to be able to come and grab him with his nails, with her nails, sorry, and shake him until he says, I want the light, I want to give light. I cannot just suck life from other people and be rude, be mean, be a vampire, right? We have people around us, they're vampires. Instead of giving, being a giver, they're takers. So we should actually thank, you know, those special women, because they're helping, you know, with the correction. And even when someone has a relationship that is not working well, if you inject light into it, everything will change. Everything will change. What are they shouting? Give me light, give me light, right? Any person you really truly give them light and love and compassion, sooner or later, they're going to feel that they're filled with it, and they're going to change their character. You know, it's, in a way, it's better for us to go through these things, because if we, you know, if we do meet our soulmate, and then we say, oh, I have my soulmate, I have a good wife, I have a good man, now I don't have to work. If you're going to ruin that with your soulmate, then it's going to be hard to correct it. And if you lose your soulmate, and your soul goes, you know, the woman goes up again, they say even Hashem, even God cannot force her to go back. If she refused to go, if something very evil happened, it's major. So it's very important, when we look for a soulmate, when we look for our husband or wife, to really be honest and look inside on what I as a person can really give the other side. What am I willing to sacrifice? What, you know, what mitzvot am I already keeping? What do I want to keep more? What can I help my partner to keep with me? If you're already married, learning Torah classes, even just open a book that you and your wife want and love to read together. It can be righteous people's stories. It can be, you know, different commentaries of about the Torah, midrash, the stories, the legends, the miracles that happened, anything you want. When you're learning Torah together, it has such a beautiful power to elevate both souls, and also it helps you to really purify the connection. And then you'll see, it could be that you live with someone for, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years, and you don't really know the true soul of who you live with. It could be that's your soulmate, but you're, you know, having so much, we call it like bad water, right, between you guys, that you kind of live next to each other, but you missed each other completely. So by learning Torah, by working and taking responsibility, everyone on themselves, you can truly find out who is the person next to you. And once you're working on yourself, everything else will fall into place. And whether you're single, it will attract the right soul to you. If you're married, it would make your connection much better when you inject light.
Everything is working together to correct the world. But the man is also above everything in the creation. And every Friday during the time we do Kiddush, we say Asher bara Elohim lasot, which means that we are obligated as man, as men and women, to bring the world to its correction, to make it more pretty, to help those in need, to fight evil, to bring everything to the way God wanted it to be, because God didn't create it perfect. It created into a way that, like a giant puzzle, that we have to do it with him and to correct things in the creation and to do, because we are here to do, we're here to work. We're not just here to sit down look around and wait until we kick the bucket. We need to fight evil. And I know that all the people that are following the Torah are the ones that want to correct the world and bring it to a better place and to do better things for the world and for people and for animals and for everything good in the world. This is what God created us to do, to bring the world to its correction, to do, lasot.
So the process of the creation, parallel to the process that our souls have to go through in order to cleanse and to be reunited again. Whenever we do an action that causes separation, even with our thought, we kind of get ourselves away from being completed, from being one with Hashem. And right now we see a lot of separation around us, but we have again to ignore in a way the focus. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not there, but ignore the darkness and just extend the light, because our soul had to, we have to cleanse. And that's again why the parasha of Beresheet gives us the ability to really cleanse again and to really reunite again and get this peace, this amazing light inside us, that whenever during the year we'll have challenges, once we have it inside, and this is the seed that is growing, no matter what challenges we're going to have along the way, the seed is already there. And the seed is the seed that you plant now. And if this seed is strong enough and is filled with light, you're always going to have that higher seeing, higher ability to see the good in everything. You're always going to see what's, connect to your final goal whenever there's something else that is blocking it. Because we have to cleanse right now all these blockages that we put that is stopping the light from going into our lives. And if we do it now, and again, every letter in this parasha can help us to create that seed and to make it strong enough that it will follow, we'll walk with it inside us for the whole year. So this is really powerful. And we have to really, when we want to cleanse, think about it in your life. In order to get there, you must go through a process. And this process is those challenges, those obstacles that we have to overcome in order to elevate ourselves to a higher level. The process is a part of what we're going through. So once we understand that, you don't have to fight, the process itself. You should overcome your challenges. You should recognize the obstacles and move it, destroy it, burn all those obstacles in your life. But you have to understand that this process is essential in order to be united again. And that's where all humanity is going to eventually, to be one again, to be one with the light, one light, one soul. And this is where we're getting. And every year we read about the creation, the beginning. This is when we connect again to that part, even for a glimpse. And we go one step forward into being all pure, and light and with peace again. Now, I want to touch a little bit the part, of course, the seventh day.
So this part we say every Friday night when we daven in Tfilat Arvit. יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. So we say it on the Kiddush, and we explain that on the seventh day, God stopped everything. ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. So God stopped everything that he did, and he blessed the seventh day. So we got the Shabbat as a gift to us. It's a blessed day. a day that God stopped everything that he did, and we should stop also.
So God rested on the seventh day. This is a rest of completion. On Shabbat, we know there are 39 avot melacha, 39 jobs that we're not allowed to do on Shabbat. This is the completion. The energy that comes into the world on Shabbat is completely different than other days. So we're not allowed to work, of course, not to drive, and not to light, new light and so on. But this is a day that Hashem blessed. It says in the Torah, and God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy. So it's a holy day, and it's also a covenant between the Jewish people, the Israelites, and God. So keeping Shabbat is keeping a covenant. It's like saying to God, I remember my covenant with you. This is, it's more than just, oh, I'm not working. It's to understand that whatever we do on that day is going to affect the week after, it's going to affect our soul. So on that day, we have to remind ourselves that it's a holy day, and a holy day, we have to kind of do our best to stay focused on what we're doing, how we're doing that, and not to let, some people can say, okay, I'm not touching my phone, I'm not watching TV, but then they go and talk with their friends and start to argue about politics and about, things that are not, arguing and all this, and then you're losing the point. You want to argue, you want to fight about politics, you want to fight about basketball, soccer, whatever it is, do it on another day. Do it on another day. Shabbat has to be your day with God, your day with your family, appreciation, and enjoy an inner peace. You can't, you're so used to, you're so addicted to your phone, to whatever. Okay, ask yourself why. Why you didn't take the time to build the right relationship, first of all, with your soul and with God, that now that they took your toy away from you, you're so bored. Okay, so now you see it, you see the mirror in front of your eyes, you see the truth. Now it's a good time to start working on that. So you can prepare for yourselves books, holy books, as we said, Torah, books before Shabbat, a righteous person that you are related to their life and to different challenges that they were going through, and get, a holy book about them, like the Baal Shem Tov, like Rabbi Akiva, like the Ari, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Zohar, different books that relate to your soul. And of course, make sure those books are kosher books, because today, just like in the internet, you have so many videos that are not really Jewish, and they say that they are Jewish, they're not Jewish. Make sure you take a book that is, it's really a kosher Jewish book. There are ways to find out. I urge you to do the extra effort to find the right books. But, make a pile, sit and read, go listen to the Torah, post your friends, make sure that you talk about, nice things, how you're going to do good in the world, and so on. Just remember, it's a holy day. Now, I want, before we finish, just to touch something that is on the second Aliyah. This is chapter number 2, pasuk verse 4, Arba. That it says there, "Ele toldot hashamayim ve'haaretz behi bar'am." This is the story of the heaven and earth as they were created. And in the word "as they created," there's first of all a small hey. So now we know. So first it was the big bet. Now there's a small hey, and there's reasons why the small hey, and it's connected to our world of Malchut. But the word Behi Bar'am, is also giving us the letters of Avraham. So this is coming, you know, in the same parasha that we also read about the sin that made us all be kicked out of heaven, because we are all the sparks of the soul of first man. We all have a little spark from the soul that was a part of God, right? He created man in his image. So we all have what is called chelek elokai bimal. It's the spark part of the soul of first man. And it seems sometimes in life that it was all lost. But then already here, the seed of Abraham was planted. And the seed of Abraham shows us, just like in other parashot, if you take the time to look for it, that the light is never leaving us alone. The light is always with us. Even if we're right now wearing the darkest sunglasses on our eyes and we feel like we can't see anything beyond that, God is always with us. And even in here, already planted the spark and the soul of Abraham that later on will be able to elevate everything and to start the process that we do till today of fighting the darkness by creating light.
Any questions?
Oh, and there's so much. Oh, go ahead. You just talked about so much stuff. I think we're just all, I think I'm just trying to soak it in. I don't even know where to start. But I do have a question from the very, very beginning. Oh, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Uh-oh.
we hear you.
Hear you, Sherry.
Oh, you can hear me? Something just happened with my phone. So, you know, to go back to one of the very, very first things you said, can you tell us more about how the heaven and the ocean were one at the very beginning and then were separated? Because that just is an amazing idea. And I'm wondering how does it impact us today? Like, what should we know about that?
Okay, go ahead. I'm with you.
Wait, hold on.
Sherry asked the question about the sky and the water.
Oh, yeah. So the question really is at the beginning you were talking about how it said that the heaven and the ocean were like one and then were separated out. And I'm just wondering if you can tell us more about that and what that means to us today. Like how we relate to the ocean versus how we would relate to Shemaim.
Okay, so if you notice, and I'm going to read it again. When you go to the second day, it says, ויאמר אלוהים יהי רקיע בתוך המים. They talk only about מים. מים is water. Okay? ויהי מבדיל, separate, בין מים למים. Separate between water to water. Doesn't even say which water. Okay? And then Hashem created the rakia. Rakia is another word for the sky in Hebrew. We have 7 layers of rekiim, 7 layers in the sky. Just like we have 7 medore gehenom, just like we have we have the 7 layers of gehenom, hell. We have 7 layers of heaven, 7 layers of the sky. And the word rakia is what we use for the rekiim. And the word that Hashem gives here for the rakia is shamayim. So I'm going to continue and read for you. ויבדל את המים אשר מתחת לרקיע, separate the water under the sky, and the water that is above the rakia, okay, above the sky. And Hashem called the rakia, that's the name for the sky, shamayim, and we said that shamayim has the word shamayim. Over there, there's water. And that's it. That was the night and the morning of the second day. So the name of water, the water later on, the lower water received as Yamim, Yam, sea, was only on the third day. Because the third day, if you notice, it says also twice, Vayar Elohim Kitov, that Hashem saw that it's good on the third day. Because the third day is kind of the day of balance. It was the water, the heaven or the sky, and the greenery. Okay, all the plants and the trees that we know about. It's not just the regular trees, it's also the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. Everything created here. So then they received the name of Yamim, Yam.
So
Thank you.
Tuesdays are really good days, you're saying? Is that why you chose to do the class on Tuesdays?
No.
So actually,
Maybe.
Tuesday, when we read about the creation, we can understand better why Shabbat we celebrate from Friday night to Saturday night. And I talked about it a little bit today. But also we have to remember that if on Friday night, that's when Shabbat, the day of Shabbat starts. So on Sunday night, this is when Monday starts. On Tuesday night, it's when Wednesday starts. Okay? So they are, in general, they say that according to Judaism, and now you see also from the creation, there are good days to start new things and there are bad days to start new things. So in general, they say that if you have something new, it's better not to start it on a Monday or a Wednesday. The best days to start are Tuesdays, Thursday, and also you can do on Friday morning, and not on Mondays and Wednesdays. Now, if it's a Rosh Chodesh, for example, or a special celebration that is positive that falls on that day, then it's different. For example, if Tu B'Av, the holiday of love, is falling on a Sunday, then it's okay. It's a happy day. That's different because the holiday or the enjoyable event that is falling, or the gate, as I like to call it, the window or gate in time that is open, falls on that day, then that takes over the, the energy of that day. Any more questions?
Going back to the water, the question, the wave seems to be always trying to go against gravity and return to the original water. Is there any connection to that? When we go to the beach, we see the water, it seems like the wave is always trying to return to the heavens or reconnect to the part that was disconnected in the creation. Am I going crazy, or is just?
You're not going
I was
crazy.
making a connection with you.
So water has a very crucial part in Judaism because we are encouraged to go to the mikveh. Mikveh is a place that we can purify ourselves. It's the mikvehs that we have as places that we go to are, today it's easier to go to a place that it's like a non-profit or organization, a place that we go that there's a specific way of how they preserve rainwater and bring it into a special pool where people can go and purify themselves. But of course, the ocean, a brook, any lake that we can go to are very, very powerful to purify ourselves. But in a way, the world is kind of divided to before the scene and after, because what happened is that after the scene, we got curses. And the curse for man was that the land will be cursed, right? Before everything was perfect, he ruled everything. He was the highest one before Hashem, before God. And he ruled everything, everything was blessed. There was also no time in heaven. Like if you go next to a wheat, and he wanted bread, it will come as bread, whatever you would think of, there was no time of preparation. You would just kind of pick it up as bread, as a cake, whatever he wanted, it was already there. When you just think about it, it was created. Anything they needed and wanted. in our lives today, we have to work and work hard. And by working, we're actually, you know, this is a part of a curse. And by working, and what we're really doing when we're understanding that every little thing we do is essential for the universe. And we have to do it with happiness. And there's no one work that is necessarily less important than another. We understand that our job in this world is to collect the sparks of light, of holiness that fell into the shells, into negativity. And by elevating it with our own processes as human, as especially elevated humans, we can really help the world to correct faster, because our job here is to really correct the world.
I wanted to comment on the water thing, because
Yes.
some people say like the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean have different energies, that one of the energies is to remember and the other is to forget. And
Whoa.
and I think, you know, it is true, like you go to different places and different parts of the world, and it does emulate and bring up different emotions and different kinds of healings. So maybe even mikvah could be a little bit like that in a way, like depending
thank
on
you for,
where the rainwater is from.
Thank you for bringing it up. I don't know where you heard about the remember and forget. If you can tell me about that a little bit more, because then I'll tell you something about what Rashi says about the oceans.
Yeah, it's just always been a saying, you know, because I lived on the East Coast and the West Coast. And so when you go to the water on the East Coast, they say that people on the East Coast go to the water to remember, and people on the West Coast go to the water to forget. The energies of the water are different. And it's just something I always heard, you know, having really grown up in both places and spending a lot of time. I spent a lot of time in Cape Cod and stuff like that. And then I grew up out here. So, but I don't really know more about it than that, but it just triggered me to think about that when Jethro asked his question.
So I've never heard about it with the East Coast or West Coast, but I can tell you that Rashi, which is very well known rabbi and Torah commentator, he says that the reason it's called Yamim and not Yam, right? It says seas. Okay, he says the water went, and then Hashem called it seas, not a sea. You know, he could have called just one big sea, but he already says seas, and Rashi explains that just like you said, every ocean and every sea, you know, big sea in the world has, exactly like you said, has different fish, different flavor of the fish, different, just like you said, different energy completely than another. So if you go to one sea, the fish there, even if you're going to put the same fish in that water, that fish will taste different than the fish in the other oceans. And just like you said, they're completely, they're water, but each water is different. And it kind of connects me to what we said in one of the lectures with Rabbi Nachman, that Rabbi Nachman even says that when you pray in a field, so each herb has its own angel. So a prayer that you will do, and he always encouraged people to go to nature and pray in nature. Every place you go, every field, every forest will have a different, you know, your prayer is going to be different. Every herb has its own prayer. Every herb has its own melody. He says that there's the singing of the grass, the singing of the herbs. Everything is different. Yeah. So he encouraged people to go to nature and to different places and feel how their prayer is influenced by the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks so much for saying
you.
that. That was really deep, you guys. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much for class, Sherry. Thank you, Noam. That was beautiful. Really.
Thank you. And we really urge you to go and hear the Torah, because especially the first psukim, they really, you have to sit there and do what is called the ptichat halev. It's not going with no effort. You really have to close your eyes and open your heart, like really before you hear the Torah. Really imagine like your heart, your spiritual heart is opening, and you just observe the energy that is before the seed, that when everything was perfect and peaceful and loved. And this is really important because we don't always understand what's happening in the spiritual level, but our soul just get it. So all we need to do is just sit there, don't interrupt your soul, and it's your soul time. Just open and observe it. And you can really see healing in your life. You can focus on people that needs healing that maybe are not there, and really see miracles. And again, it's like the cosmic bank. Whatever you observe, maybe you won't see it right away, but the seed is there now for the rest of the year. So you never know what challenge you're going to go through, and all of a sudden this extra light is going to open up and help you there. So like bring deep pockets, collect all the light you can.
Thank you very much.
Our
Thanks,
pleasure.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a beautiful evening. Laila tov.
Laila
Later,
tov.
bye-bye.
Bye.